options to unmute yourself, please go to the left of the screen. Let's start with a roll call vote. City of Tucson.
Hi, this is James. Sorry, this is James McGinnis. Oh, sorry. We both found the mute button at the same time.
Thank you.
James McGinnis, City of Tucson.
Okay, great. City of South Tucson. Tohono O'odham Nation. Pasquiyaki Tribe.
Pasquayaki, present.
Pima County.
I'm here.
And we can hear you. Thank you. Town of Marana.
Lisa Schaefer, Town of Marana.
Town of Sahuarita.
I'm sure it isn't. Margot, no.
Town of Sahuarita. Town of Oro Valley.
Town of Oro Valley, sure.
Non-voting member roll call, University of Arizona. Suntran.
This is Davida with Suntran.
Green Valley.
Here.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 2, our agenda is the in-kind form. Regional planning efforts are enhanced by recording time donated by attendings, volunteers, and participants. PAG collects data on the time dedicated to meetings and activities to apply for use as matching funds for grants and federal dollars. If you are paid with federal dollars, please let us know now.
Hi, Andrew. This is James. Go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead, James.
No, you after you.
All City of Tucson employees, myself, James, and also a new employee, Monica Landgrave Serrano, are federally funded, so not eligible for in-kind. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any additional members?
Pasquayaki, paid federal.
Okay, thank you. Any more? The time spent working on the RTA, PAG initiatives, programs, and special projects may also be eligible for consideration for matching funds. Thank you very much for letting us record this. Moving on to item number 3, our proposed amendment to the draft 5-year financial plan for RTA Transit. If we can get the plan up. Crystal, do you have the slides?
I do not. Jim, are you, is it a PDF?
It is a PDF. It was on the program.
Okay, give me just 1 second.
Let's see. I can look for it as well and share my screen.
Amber, I have it up, and if you want, I can share screen right now.
Oh, that's great. Let's do that.
All right, I'll go ahead and see if I can't do that. Oh, I'm disabled at the moment.
There you go.
Okay, Jim, you should be good now.
Okay, let me try again. Oh, still says I'm disabled.
Okay, Jim, try it again, please.
Ah, there we go. Okay.
Okay.
All right, can you see what, there is one
There we
box
go.
of-
There we go. Sorry for the
box.
technical difficulties.
Yeah, the only change that we're recommending at this point is the highlighted in salmon box, purchase of Sun Shuttle vehicles. Amber, do you want to report on that or?
Sure, absolutely. This is it's the salmon box, and it is in fiscal year 22. It's on page 2 of the handout that we sent you all. This is the plan that you all approved in December, except for the addition of this salmon box. And we had not put 6 vehicles in the previous plan. 3 of the vehicles are from an old grant in fiscal year 19. They're 26-foot LTVs at approximately 97,000 a piece, federal, and it's out of a 5307 fiscal year 2019 grant. And then there's an additional 3 vehicles, 24-foot vehicles under 5311 for approximately 85 to 86,000 a piece. The salmon box reflects the revenue from the 5307, 5311, the total dollars for the total purchase of the vehicles, including local and federal match. And then the revenue portion is just that 5307 and 5311 dollars coming in. That is the only change to our financial plan that you all approved in December. So we caught this and we wanted to bring it up so that you all could approve it and to include it in our fiscal year 22 and 26 financial plan. Are there any questions? If not, if we could get a recommendation to approve the amendment to the financial plan.
Hey, Amber, this is James. I move to accept the recommendation as shown and approval.
Do I have a second?
This is Lisa Schaefer. I'll second.
Okay, I will move to a roll call vote by jurisdiction. City of Tucson,
Aye.
Pasquiyaki Tribe,
Aye.
Pima County,
Aye.
Town of Marana,
Aye.
Town of Sarvarita,
Aye.
Town of Oro Valley.
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you very much. Now moving on to item 4, a discussion on COVID-related transit service changes. We just wanted to touch base with and have some discussion about what our jurisdictions and what our services are seeing in our region. On Sun Shuttle, we're seeing about a 30% decrease if you look from December to December on ridership on our routes. Some are as high as a 50% reduction, or excuse me, as low as a 50% reduction. Our Sun Shuttle dial-a-ride services are down 60%. That's from this December. We are seeing some labor shortages due to COVID, as well as just some staffing challenges, particularly on our Ajo to Tucson run. So I wanted to touch base with SunTran and to Oro Valley to give the group an update on what they're seeing in regards to their COVID-related service changes.
This is the town of Oro Valley. We are about 40% decrease from December of last year. And we're doing well with labor, no problems with staffing. In fact, I'm quite impressed with our drivers' willingness to continue to even drive in these trying times with the risks that are associated with it. So I'm pretty proud of them. And I don't know if you have any other questions in particular about anything.
John, are you finding challenges with adhering to masks?
No, not with the drivers and not with the passengers either. However, if a passenger for some reason could not wear a mask, we would accommodate them. However, that has not been a problem.
Are you able to, have you registered your drivers through the state portal? And then I believe it's not on the priority right now for 1A, but it is further down in the list for 1B for vaccinations. Have you been in touch with the county?
We actually are working with the town HR department on that. So there's other entities within the town as well, and for example, the police department's in the group ahead of us, so they're already slotted in for theirs, and so that's how we're handling it.
Thank you. Any additional comments or questions?
Hi, this is Davita with Sunshine.
Hi, Davita.
How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So Suntran, we initially dropped about 40%, but we're back up in the 80 to 90% of normal ridership. It's hovering closer to 80% from last year. Sunvan is down 50%, and they went down quite a bit more in the beginning, but they've come back to about 50%. Sunlink is still in the running between 50 and 60% down, so in ridership. But it does appear over the since October that ridership is trending upward and coming back closer to normal. Different changes that we've done, we've reduced the express route service to make sure that there's at least one trip in each direction in the morning and the afternoon. But a couple of routes did have a second trip added back in to include the 101, the Gulf Links Express, and one of the expresses from the north, and then the Raytheon Express, sorry. Modified Sunvan service levels. We've also dropped Sunlink frequencies and streamlined 4 routes and added on-demand service, and I'll talk about that a lot more in a later point. And then during the holidays, we dropped our Sunday service, the holiday Sunday service, to 60 minutes across the board. So we've done a few things trying to adjust while ridership was down. Obviously, we've been fare free, so that has made it kind of more difficult to make some reductions combined with the social distancing. The drivers have had some conflicts with passengers not wanting to wear masks. So that's been one of our challenges. We have been maintaining service even though we've had some employee shortage, and we're trying to attract new drivers to maintain our level for Suntran. Sunvan, however, because of their reduction, they had a job sharing furlough plan that went from May through the fall, but we ultimately had to drop from 175 to 125 full-time equivalent in September. Sorry, Amber, I dropped off. I didn't mean to do that.
That's okay.
So I don't know what you heard, but we've been doing pretty good. We've had some challenges. We've had some, but we've been able to maintain service for the most part throughout the whole. And I'm really impressed at how much our ridership has been holding.
Davita, would you, just because I thought this was an interesting point, would you mind addressing what you had heard at the FTA discussion
yes.
about us, how we trend nationally?
So I was listening to one of the FTA COVID listening meetings, and we hit the top 8% of transit agencies in the nation maintaining ridership. And in December, we were actually in the top 1% because we were at 80% of our ridership was still there. So I was very impressed that we were doing as well as we were being in that top 8% of transit agencies across the nation.
Well, I think that's just a testament to the commitment and of transit services into providing it and trying to maintain the level of service for the individuals that utilize it. I'd like to just thank you all and the transit providers that service our region. I know it's been tough at times. I know on our Sun Shuttle routes, we've had to have folks help us out to cover particular runs, particularly our Ajo to Tucson, but everybody has been willing to roll up their sleeves. All of you, we've worked with Sunvan, Suntran, Total Ride, as well as the town of Oro Valley and Second Generation, all of our providers and the folks that provide transportation assistance. And everybody has been fantastic and flexible and available to pivot and make changes and to help out when needed. So I really appreciate it. Does anybody else have any additional questions or points that they'd like to make about COVID-related service changes in our transit?
Amber, this is James. I just wanted to make a quick comment on what Mayor and Council had approved at their January, I believe it was their January 5th meeting. It was essentially the transit mask policy was clarified for city services. So there was a couple of points that I just wanted to make the group aware of. So according to the adopted transit mask policy, all riders and operators are required to wear a mask or face covering, and it's got to comply with the CDC and the city ordinance direction for proper use, meaning that they need to have their mouth and nose covered. If an employee or customer can't tolerate a mask, they are going to be allowed to wear a face shield as a reasonable modification. And Suntran will be providing those shields to employees and making those shields available at transit centers. And then additionally, because of the current state of COVID-19 continues to expand and the health threat that it's posing to customers and employees, this new policy does state that if a customer does not wear a face mask or face covering or face shield, they will not be permitted to ride. And then if an employee cannot wear a mask or a shield, they will not be permitted to work. So this is more restrictive than the policy that had been in place prior to this approval. So we just wanted to make that statement that the city is doing everything it can to try to ensure the safety of the vehicles. And hopefully that's sort of resonating with the community, and we'll see some people coming back as they realize that we are taking this very seriously.
James, when does that go into effect, or has it already?
It's effect. It was passed by Mayor and Council. I believe it's in effect now.
Okay.
Amber?
Yes.
This is Dick Roberts, Green Valley. I heard your numbers are decreases in ridership. Do we have any numbers for down in this area, Green Valley, Sahuarita area, or is that those numbers in general?
Those are general numbers. I do have. Let me see. If I look at the Green Valley, it's about 30%. Like our Green Valley Dial-A-Ride and the Green Valley service is about 20 to 30%. The Dial-A-Ride is 30%.
Okay, thank you.
Down. Yes. Any additional questions?
Have any problem with our people complaining about masks?
We have not. We have found that with our providers and with the Sun Shuttle services, we are not having issues with compliance. We've had some issues with drivers, but they've been taken care of. But our riders, we have not found very many in non-compliance.
Great, thank you.
If there's no more discussion, I would like to move to item 5. An overview of the SunTran on-demand pilot project, and Davida Mueller is going to be giving that update on a service that was just started, I believe, in November.
Yes, let me try to get my screen shared here.
She's on it.
Okay.
She's like way ahead of you. She's been on item 5 for a while. That's weird, isn't it? Why you would be behind like that? It shows you live.
Yes, let me try to get my screen shared here.
She's on it. She's like way ahead of you. She's been on it.
Can you see my screen all right?
Davida, we don't see your slideshow. We see your preview.
Okay, hang on a second.
Amber, this is John at Town of Royal Valley. I have a question.
Yes.
Did you guys hear anything more about the fare? Are they going to start charging the fare?
Amber, real quick before you answer that, we're getting some
Yes.
feedback. It sounds like possibly from the YouTube. If everyone can please mute their mics if you're not speaking, or if you have the YouTube open as well. Thank you.
Crystal, can you do the slideshow for me, please? I seem to be having an issue.
Yes, no problem. Just one second. And I can give you control of the, I can give you control of the mouse as well if you would like to click through yourself.
I can do that.
Okay, so in the Zoom panel, you'll see the green screen that says you're viewing Pima Association of Governments screen. And then to the right, there's a black box that says view options or options.
Yes?
If you click on that, it will say request control.
Got it.
There you go. I will approve that. If you click on the slide, it will allow you then to advance.
Thank you. Maybe. There we go. Oh, I definitely went too fast.
Davida, may I, John did ask a question, and
Yeah.
it was about fares.
Yes?
And we've tried to, we've emulated the fare-free policy that Tucson has had regionally to try to be streamless and consistent. James, do you have any update on fares and when they will be collected, or when they're projecting the fares to be collected?
I don't believe that we have a concrete date for that.
Yeah.
At this point, we're essentially going month to month, and I think the mayor and council are wanting to maintain flexibility, to be able to respond to the financial challenges that our customers are facing, and also the other hardships that COVID-19 is imposing. So I believe there isn't a target date as per yet. If that changes, I can certainly let the group know.
I appreciate that, and we've been shadowing that and doing the same thing with our Sun Shuttle services. So, John, does that answer all your questions?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, John. Thanks, James. And Davida, I will let you talk about the SunTran On Demand project. Thank you.
Thank you. So our goals were to help improve fixed route service performance, increasing efficiency and reducing costs. We're hoping that these two systems work very well together, and we're trying to rethink how transit service is provided in the city. The on-demand pilots that we are doing right now are tied to savings that we received from route changes to the 4 routes. Route 22 was a major service change. Route 15, 2, and 7 were realignments of the routings. And there are 2 on-demand pilot areas. Zone 1 is predominantly in the Ward 1 area and a little bit into Ward 3, and Zone 2 is predominantly in Ward 5. This is a map of it. We've already modified it slightly from what we started with. We've added this area over here to include the Tucson house. Anyone who is working, living, needing to be in this area, if the trip starts and ends in the yellow highlighted area, then you can do the on-demand service. If you need to leave this area or enter the area and then continue your trip, the diamonds are transferring bus stops, and there's 5 routes, six counting the Sunlink service area, or Sunlink streetcar. In Zone 2, we've also modified this slightly since we started. The property managers for the Sentinel House, which is senior living on Congress, also manage a senior living in this area. So we've made sure that the route can be in both areas. We've had a lot of senior uses. Again, the diamonds are transfer bus stops, and the on-demand area is highlighted in yellow. One of the things, I'm sorry, stepping back to, can I go backwards, Crystal? Oh, there it is. I wanted to mention before I went too far, you can see Route 22 is highlighted here. This is the changed Route 22. Previously, Route 22 also went down Grande and Congress. It duplicated part of the Route 21 on Congress. Stops that were on Grande weren't being used except close to these transfer points. So that was a big change for the Route 22. In Zone 2, the major changes or significant changes we made to routes was Route 7, the 22nd Street route, used to take care of this portion of West 22nd Street and 10th Avenue. Once it deviates onto Aviation Parkway, it continues straight downtown. The Route 2, which is the Pueblo Gardens route, had a couple of small changes. One, it took over the Route 7's area west of 22nd Street and 10th Avenue. We had, once the pandemic started and people were staying home, a number of people in the 10th Avenue area asking about reducing bus service. They had 2 15-minute routes go through that neighborhood. Now we still have one 15-minute route, and then the Route 2 is every half hour. The other change we made to make sure that people had an easier time getting over to the marketplace was we no longer go into the Quincy Douglas parking lot. We service the library and senior center on the outside. We can get people closer to the neighborhood. And then the third one was Route 15. Again, we did not have the ridership up in the Eastland to Country Club area, maintain that portion, but we did find when we did the initial outreach that people were asking about taking it to the Keno Hospital. And with the changes, we now have extended the route to the UMC South Campus, or formerly known as Keno Hospital. And now all 3 of the banner UMC hospitals are connected. But again, as I mentioned, if you are in the on-demand area, you can go to any of these locations. If you need to transfer, this makes a great transfer point between multiple routes, but also between the on-demand service and the regular SunTran fixed route. Each pilot is for 6 months. We began on November 8th with our current service change, and it will go through May. We just did an initial survey, and we will repeat it again in late April. And what we found is people are going to shopping, medical appointments, and other personal appointments. We've had really great response from the community that has been using it. There's one vehicle that's dedicated in each zone. So we haven't had any trouble yet with scheduling trips. It is uniquely branded. You can see we have the on-demand logo in the bottom corner here of the slide, and rides to any point inside the zone or to connecting bus stop have not been a problem. We have done some targeted marketing. There have been some specific outreach events where a table was set up or people could ask questions. Peers were dropped off at senior living, low-income housing, apartments. We've contacted the different apartment managers. We've worked with different churches, Boys and Girls Club. The Thrive in 05 is in the Oracle redevelopment area. We've also contacted with Job Corps. They are not quite back up to where they want to be for the future. We have had a rider incentive program, so everyone who rides right now is being put in a drawing for a Safeway gift card, and that's being sponsored by Safeway. Right now, our performance goals are hopefully we'll get to a place where we're 2 passengers per hour or even greater. Our on-time performance right now is at 95%. And the survey that I was looking at, the initial comments, most of our responses are very satisfied. There were a couple that were satisfied. The person mentioned that they were having any trouble. One of our biggest challenges is the social distancing, but also trying to get a mobile app up and running so that individuals do not have to call into reservations to do their trip. And here's a number of pictures of some of the stuff that we have already done. Mario Anita is in Zone 1. So is the West End Station residents, Sentinel Plaza, and then the Blanche Johnson residents in Ward 5 near Quincy Douglas have been big plan users of the system. We do have a brochure. We have a magnet to help people remember the phone number so that they can call them and make reservations. And Luz, our outreach coordinator, also was on the Thrive in 05 monthly meeting podcast. Our current system map does show the 2 zones as part of our system, and we're hoping that we can expand on this in the future. Do you have any questions? I know I went through a little fast. I'm sorry.
Davida, who do you see primarily utilizing this service?
So right now we have mostly retired. We do have a few disabled individuals. Everyone that has responded to our survey so far has been very low income. This area was actually targeted for its retired and low income or high risk populations. We're hoping that usually on-demand services like this tend to do first last mile for on the edge of the system for the suburban areas, and we felt that the urban area would be a little bit better. If I were to take you back to that very first slide, oops, sorry, I seem to have gone too far. What we found is for the Public Gardens neighborhood, I'll tell you in Ward 5, if they wanted to go to Walmart, which is over in this area, but you live in this area, you are taking 2 buses it was faster to walk. And it was over a mile walk if you had to walk, but you had to take 2 or 3 buses to get over there. So this helps the community reduce their food desert. It helps get their trip done faster. And we have had people use the service to transfer to SunTrend route, but we've also had quite a bit of grocery shopping trips included. So we were trying to target the urban area more to take care of those kinds of issues.
So Davida, so your trip purpose mainly is like grocery, medical, and transfer? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Is the primary? Okay.
Yeah, that's what it has been so far. Again, we've had really good response. We've only had 1 or 2 comments where people had trouble making a reservation to start with. Primarily, the people that we have been able to interview so far have said that the drivers are fantastic and that they've had a lot of, the service was very helpful and they were able to get their trip done just as quickly or faster using the on-demand service as opposed to just using the fixed route or even Sunvan. So I'm hoping it continues to increase.
Are the riders happy that they can just schedule it the same day? Are you finding satisfaction? Are they liking that? Gives them more flexibility?
I did have a comment about flexibility, but it wasn't specifically about whether or not they could do their reservation. I think because you can schedule a trip up to 7 days, I think it's flexible, whether it's the same day or I need to plan a doctor's appointment and I just made it. So I only have a couple of days to arrange my travel.
Does anybody have any questions for Davida or any comments about the service?
Thank you for letting me give you an update on how we're doing right now. Hopefully in late April, early May, I'll be able to tell you that it was extremely successful.
Well, we thank you for the update and giving us this information on this new service on these 2 zones. It's nice that we're giving our riders and the folks in those particular regions more access to different types of services for them to be more flexible. Any other questions? If not, I will move on to adjourning the meeting, and I'd like to thank you all for participating. We will look to tentatively hold a meeting in March, on March 9th at 11 a.m. That's Tuesday, March 9th. I will be adjourning. This meeting is adjourned at 11:40 a.m. Thank you.
Thanks, Amber.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey, thank you.